Hey, good morning, guys. We want to talk about finding the domain and range of radical functions, and we want to do it from the equation today. So first, full disclosure, if you want, there's nothing that stops you from graphing these, okay? You guys will have access to desmos.com, type in desmos.com, and you can graph these. So it says y is equal to the square root of x. You can say, bring up your little keyboard down here, y is equal to, where's my square root? Square root of x, okay? And that's our parent function, okay? So you can graph all these, I have no problem with that. We'll graph a few of them. What I just wanted to make you guys aware of is how to tell which way it flips, because there's 4 different ways that this can look, okay? If you have a negative, if everything's positive, right, you have a positive on the inside and positive on the outside, this is you right here. If I have a negative on the inside, in other words, y is equal to negative x, it's going to reflect over the x-axis. If I have y is equal to negative on the outside, square root of x, it's going to flip down like that. And if they're both negative, well, you can guess there's only one other place it's going to be. And that is greatly going to affect our domain and range, because that's going to affect pretty much which direction it's starting in, right? So for this red one here, right, the first one, let's turn off these other 3, okay? For where it's positive, again, you need to know your starting point, right? And then x is going up and y is going up. So your domain, your x values would be from 0 to infinity, and your y values would be from 0 to infinity. So anything greater than 0 in the x direction, anything greater than 0 in the y direction. If I flip it the other way, though, let's take a look. Now, my x values, it still ends at 0, 0. My x values have to be anything less than 0, right? But my y values are still going up. And my y values still have to be greater than 0, okay? So it's just kind of keeping track of where things are going to go. So again, it's going up this way in the positive direction, but here we're going in the negative direction. So x has to be less than 0, y has to be greater than 0. If I take a look at this one where my negative is on the outside, again, now my x's are all good, right? X's go from 0 up, right? But my y's actually go down, right? So my x's have to be greater than 0. My y's actually have to be less than 0. And in the last case where they're both negative, my x's have to be less than 0 and my y's have to be less than 0. So just something to kind of look out for, okay? So essentially all we need to know is, hey, where's the starting point and then which direction is it facing, okay? So again, we'll kind of leave these up here, and we'll kind of come back and check as we go through these, okay? So the first one, what's the range of this function? Well, this is the parent function, okay? So the range is the y values, right? And what's the lowest y value of this function? Well, again, the smallest x value I can put in is 0, and the y value that pops out for that is going to be 0. So y has to be greater than 0, right? Y has to be greater than or equal to 0, okay? The domain of this function. Now let's take a look at this. X plus 6. Now you guys know as well as I do when I put x plus 6 on the inside. So first of all, it's a positive one. It's like this. And if I put x plus 6, let's take a look. It's actually going to be from negative 6 to infinity for your domain. So any number greater than or equal to negative 6. And your range is, again, going to be from 0 on up. So it's got to be greater than or equal to negative 6. Essentially what you're looking for, if I say this, y is equal to the square root of x minus x plus 6. All you need to do to find out your domain, pop this out and set it equal to 0. Because remember, the square root of 0 is going to be our turning point. It's either going to be the biggest number we have or it's going to be the smallest number we have. And we're going to subtract 6, we're going to say x is equal to negative 6. So again, we know that that is our endpoint, right? That our domain is either going to start at negative 6 or end at negative 6. In this case, because this number here is positive and there's no negative on the outside, we know that everything is going up. So your domain is going up and your range is going to be going up. Okay? Okay? Again, your range. So your little trick like that for the range is if there's nothing added on the outside, it starts at 0, okay? Because again, if we remember back to all our other functions, what's going to happen here is it's going to get shifted left and right. There's nothing added or subtracted on the outside. So we know that it's going to be 0 right now, and you could tell that from all the answers, right? Now the question is it going up or is it going down? In other words, is 0 going to be the biggest number or is it going to be the smallest number that you're allowed to put in? Since everything is positive here, right? Since everything is positive here, like our first example here, your domain is going up and your range is going up, right? So what do we want to look at? Nothing's added or subtracted on the outside, 0, and it's going up. So y has to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, a little bit tricky here. Again, the domain. What do we have to do? We have to set this equal to 0. And I know your gut instinct says move this over 20 spots. You can't. Okay, so let's say y is equal to 5x minus 20. Y is equal to the square root 5x minus 20. What are we going to do? Take what's in here, set it equal to 0. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to add 20. 5x is equal to 20. I'm going to divide by 5. And what do I find out? X is equal to 4. So my x values either start at 4 or they end at 4. Okay, so from here, since we see that this is positive on the inside and positive on the outside, we know positive on the inside, positive on the outside, it's going to be a shape like this. Okay, so what do we know? We know that it's going to start at 4 and it's got to be greater than or equal to 4. Okay, again here, let's think about this. Negative 2x plus 16. Okay, now look, now we have a negative on the inside, so we gotta watch out here, right? So what are we going to say? Negative 2x plus 16 is equal to 0, right? So again, I'm going to subtract 16. Subtract 16. I'll say negative 2x is equal to negative 16, which means that x is equal to 8, okay? So let's take a look, though. Let's graph this one. We'll see how this one's a little bit different, okay? So negative 2x plus 16. Y is equal to the square root of negative 2x plus 16. Let's take a look. Now that 8 was correct, but let's take a look which way this one swings, right? This one is going in the opposite direction, right? So we see, like this graph right here that had the negative on the inside, it's going to flip over the other way because now anything less than 8 will make this true, will make this positive, right? I'm sorry. So again, let's watch that. Okay, again, 8 is the number. It's going to swing over the other way, though. Okay. So I strongly suggest you guys do is you guys go ahead and you make yourselves a little one of these, and it'll kind of help you. So you know the number is 8. You know it's got a negative on the inside. Wham! I know it's got to go that way. Okay. So where are we going? We're going to this one. So again, it's 8. It's got to be less than or equal to 8. Good. And that's about as difficult as we're going to get, I think, for you guys. Here, let's do this one. Again, what's the range of this function? Okay, so now, again, let's take a look. The range is the y values. That is this right here. So we know that this is our answer right here. Okay, but let's go ahead and let's find out why it's less than. I have a negative on the outside. So the negative on the outside is going to look like this. So again, for my y values, I'm just looking for this number right here. Now the question is it everything up to that number, or is it everything from that number up or from that number down? Sorry. So in this case, because we flipped it downwards, it's going to be everything below that, right? So it's going to stop at 4. So again, sorry. What are we going to say? It's going to be this one right here. Okay. So again, you guys can feel free to graph these if you'd like. See if there's anything a little more difficult. No. What's the range of this function? Again, take a look at the y values on the outside. We're starting from negative 2, and we're going everything below that because it's negative on the outside. Okay? What's the domain of this? Again, what will make this equal to 0 will be 0. Now, we need to choose which one. Since there's a negative on the inside, our graph is flipped over that way. So it will be everything less than 0. Everything less than 0, okay? So I'm going to leave these to you guys, give them a try, and let me know if you guys have questions. There's not going to be any new work tomorrow, so you have today and tomorrow to do this, but send questions if you got them. Thanks, guys.